right now, the Canes are knocking on the door of another year with a winning series in the postseason, which essentially becomes, since Tom Dundon took over, they've been winning at least a series every single year in the postseason, which is an incredible accomplishment. Tom Dundon being the owner that purchased the Canes at around the same time that David Tepper purchased the Panthers, which has given us a really fun kind of comparison to watch their journeys go in opposite directions, the Panthers and the Canes. And kind of basing it off of that comparison, last time we were sitting outside the Lenovo Center here, what was that, game 2?
Yeah, a week ago.
It was a week ago. We were talking about the NFL draft coming up, and we were talking about things the Panthers could learn from the Canes. And one of them was putting together an identity, right? When people say, when an analyst says, when you're watching the draft and a player gets picked to the Carolina Hurricanes, and they say, that player, that's just a Cane, right? Oh, that player just fits in Carolina. There's no doubt. We all know what that means. I don't have to explain it. When you say that exact same sentence about the Panthers, I don't know if it's as obvious, right? It's more of like, well, what does that mean? So the kind of lesson learned is figure out what you want to be and find people that fit within that umbrella and bring them in. So now, right, we said that on last Tuesday. There was an entire NFL draft. There was entire NHL undrafted or NFL undrafted free agent signing period. Coming back on Tuesday, I wanted to revisit it to see if they learned their lesson. I actually think they're drafting for two different cultures.
Okay.
I think they have a culture on offense and they have a culture on defense.
All right.
I think the offense is mostly Dave Canales' image. I think the defense is mostly Dan Morgan's image.
Okay.
Offense, what did they do? They drafted a guy from Waimanalo, Hawaii. They drafted Tetaroa McMillan, who, by the way, there's videos of him in Hawaii wearing his Panthers replica jersey, like his own replica jersey.
Nice.
Dancing to Hawaiian reggae, singing like karaoke, surrounded by friends and family. He's positivity. He's optimism. He sees the world through very exciting colored glasses. I think Bryce Young has a lot of that. If you talk to Robert Hunt, he's a good time. He will take your soul on a football field.
Oh, yeah.
But when he talks to the media, he's optimistic. He's looking for the good. The Panthers offense very obviously is like kind of Cali swag, if I can use that as a stereotype, like flip-flops and board shorts and having a good time.
But tough, too.
But about their business.
Toughness, yeah.
By the way, as somebody that grew up in Hawaii, just because they have flip-flops and board shorts on, they can still whip your butt pretty good. There are some very tough individuals that carry like a boogie board. I'll just let you know that right now. Defense, though, they're going more Dan Morgan. And Dan Morgan, like, the 20 tackles in a Superbowl Dan Morgan.
Yeah.
Dan Morgan, the first person to win the butt kiss, the Bednarik and the Nagurski Award for the University of Miami, Dan Morgan. That Dan Morgan. And I think it's showing, right? Here's I thought this is me maybe overthinking things, but also I think it's kind of like signals. Nick Scorton, their second round edge rusher, right? So I just illustrated all the ways Tetaroa McMillan fits in with the optimistic, cool, upbeat offense. Scorton was talking to the media, and he had on his Panthers hat, right? As you get drafted, you get to wear a hat. I don't know where the hats come from, but it's a thing.
Good way to push merch.
You put your hat on. And in the middle of talking with the media, he looked down and he saw all 31 teams, the other teams' hats, right? Because they didn't know where he was going to be drafted, so they were prepared for everything. And just instinctively throws them all on the ground. He just grabbed all of them, swiped off the table, down on the ground as if like, no, I will now die for the Panthers. Like, I can't even have the other team's hats not on the floor in my house because he was drafted 7 minutes ago and is already that intensely a Panther.
The rest of y'all are dead to me.
Yeah, like that quickly, right? It's that intense. It's that ready to go. And so that's the very first defensive player drafted by the Panthers this year. Today I was looking through the undrafted free agents that the Panthers signed. Just kind of trying to get a vibe for it. Oh, look, Mushin Muhammad III. Well, hey, that's very Canes thing also, right? Brindamore, Slavin, Nadeau, Stillman, right? It's like, hey, look at this. They're taking care of their own. That makes sense. A few other names kind of piqued my interest a little bit, but there was a safety, Trey Thomas, who was a safety from Arkansas State, signed as an undrafted free agent. And I went, Arkansas State, one of my buddies used to coach there. He actually coached in the secondary. let me hit him up, see what he has to say about this Thomas character. Texted him. He's like, hey, let me call you. Calls me up. We catch up about families, right? Oh, how are your kids? Blah, 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 like super upbeat. And then at a certain point, the conversation turns to like, okay, so tell me about this. He calls him Trey T. Tell me about Trey T. What kind of player is it? And his entire demeanor changed. His coach talking about him. This is a guy that coached him like freshman year. He goes, violent. He goes, have you watched him on tape? I said, no, not yet. He goes, you'll see it on tape. He's violent. He goes, the way we used to talk about him was we would say he doesn't have brakes. Not saying like he doesn't get in and out of brakes well, saying like he doesn't have the thing that stops your car. He doesn't have brakes.
Luis Mendoza, Mighty Ducks, can't stop.
It's echo of the whistle maybe, and then the echo of the whistle. And I wrote down the exact thing there. He said explosive, violent with emphasis. You'll see it on tape. He doesn't have brakes. And then he almost had to get into like he's learned to be smart. He's gotten more experience. He's learned the nuance of the game. But he showed up on campus with violence. That's the second round pick, highest drafted defensive player in the Panthers, and an undrafted rookie free agent safety from Arkansas State. The top of the top, the bottom of the bottom, the thing they have in common, intensity, violence at the point of attack. That's what they're trying to make that defense about. That's what they want their culture to be about.
And then you also look at Lathan Ransom, the safety they drafted from Ohio State. Dude will take your head off if you watch him play.
Mm-hmm.
And also look at Bobby Brown that they signed this offseason, the big nose tackle from the LA Rams, who's a first and second down player, stuff with the run, but same type thing, violent hands in the middle of that defense. Exactly what they're going for. Ruthless aggression. It's the ruthless aggression era of the Carolina Panthers.
And I'm actually, obviously, if you coach middle school football, you're just jacked up right now, right? You're physicality, be the hammer, not the nail. Like you're ready to roll. I'm interested to see how that plays out in the NFL, right? Because Trayvon Moehrig, the safety they brought out of free agency, much better known as a hitter, a tackler, a physical presence than he is for getting his hands on the football. Even guys like the corners, J.C. Horn, Michael Jackson, if there's a speed sweep coming their way, they are more than comfortable running up and making a tackle. Mm-hmm. I'm interested to see how that plays in modern NFL, where it seems like every year there's a new rule to take hitting further out of the game. Right? If you had Moehrig and Ransom with some of these guys backing them up at safety in like 1997, you'd have a permanent reserved spot on Tom Jackson and Chris Berman's jacked up.
Oh yeah,
and it would be highlights. Nowadays, all those hits, they're penalties. So you have to exude your physicality in a different way. It's very obvious, what Dan Morgan is trying to do defensively. You brought it up. He has a history in Seattle. It's Legion of Boom-esque, and not just the secondary, but that entire team was physical. He played on some of the best Panther defenses. If you look up those guys, the Julius Peppers of the world, they weren't soft, right? They were there. I actually just saw Cam Newton was talking about Julius Peppers, and he said there's just some dudes who, I'm paraphrasing, you just say like, if he ever got mad, what are we gonna do? I'm not stopping him. Mm-mm. Like what do we do if he ever wants to go do something and we want to try to stop him? We can't. He said, have you ever seen somebody that had the same size arms as legs, which it's crazy to think of, but that's where Dan Morgan's coming from. And I think, the culture that they're trying to build, there is very much an offense and a defensive culture. And I'm okay with that. I don't think you need to build, you can have two different things on different sides of the locker room. Football's already kind of divided that way. So I think their draft showed it. And I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out.